What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live composing show. This is Stephen Malin at Simple Samples Audio. I'm so glad you're joining us here today. So today we are actually doing a live composing show focused on Hvybones granular pads. You just got a little snippet of it, a little preview there. And today specifically, I'm going to be writing my entry as part of the Hvybones Granular Pads Composing Challenge. So if you have been a part of the Chris Kalimba Composing Challenge or the Horror Harp Composing Challenge, then you're no stranger to this process of how I give you a week or two to write a track using the library or the light version, the free version of the library. And as long as you can submit it by the proper date, there's a listening party a few days afterwards, which is going to be in 2 weeks' time on March 4th. And then at the end of that, there's going to be 5 winners selected based on the composition quality, the production quality, and the originality. And the winner is those 5 winners are going to get free copies of any sample library from Simple Samples Audio that they choose, as well as their track featured on the demo tracks, the featured page for that particular product. So I'm really excited today to actually write some music with you. We're going to be having some chill music today, very ambient, because this library really lends itself well to that cinematic, almost documentary film-esque type of music, which is just gorgeous, and I'm really proud of what we were able to put together here. So let's take a minute. I know many of you are still piling into the chat here today. Let's take a quick glance over here at the actual page that we're going to be talking about today. So first and foremost, Hvybones Granular Pads is part of our artist series, and you'll notice right now it is 80% off during the duration of this challenge. So if you've not picked it up, it is $12. That's nothing. So I hope that is something that serves you well, being so inexpensive today. And you can always grab the free light version if you'd rather just try it first before you buy. Totally fine. You can click on that link as well. And all these links are in the description to this video if you want to click on those at some point. You'll notice over here we have a few different videos. The first one here is what we just watched. It's the patch creation, just kind of explaining the process of how Matt Dewson, who is Hvybones, he is an ambient artist out in Australia. He makes really cool soundscapes by taking synthesizers and electric guitars and running them through a ton of pedal effects. So I was able to take those and program them into Contact, create the GUI that you see, and in turn, we have 13 major key patches, 12 minor key patches, 11 open patches, which we'll run through some of those today as I'm writing live. And if you do want a full patch walkthrough, you can actually go to this video.
What's up, guys?
Next. And I literally go through every single patch, what all the different sounds are, how the knobs work, and all that. So that'd be a great 15 minutes if you want to kind of scrub through that and see what you like from there. And so there are 5 different knobs that we'll walk through here today that add a lot of cool ambience effects to it and really transform the sound. And then you can meet Hvybones down there, a little bit about him. So hope that you will check that out. And also up here at the top, you can click on the Learn More during the duration of this contest. Pull up this page, which are all the contest rules for the challenge. So a couple notes here. Make sure that you have your entry in by March 2nd. So down here, you can see right here. Submit your track below by March 2nd by midnight Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to be considered, very short form. You just pop in your information, the title, the link to download the track, and you're good to go. And with all the previous contests, we're using the exact same criteria here where it's rated on a scale of 1 through 10, composition quality, production quality, and originality. So if you want to, you can share your track online using these hashtags on any social media or on YouTube. The main thing is to make sure that your track is between 90 seconds and 3 minutes in length. There's really no other constraints besides that. So I really do hope that you guys will jump in. I tried to give you more time than the previous contest on this one. So you actually do have a full 2 weeks, 12 days as of today. So please take advantage of that. I think you're gonna have a lot of fun. And specifically with this library, it's so different than anything else I've put out. This is my first sound design library. And it's very interesting. It helps you create these ambient soundscapes that you can then write music on top of. Or if you just want the soundscape, you can create that too. So today, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of deep diving into the library because I've already done that in previous videos. But the goal is today, if you have questions, if you just want to comment in the chat, by all means, I'd love to talk with you guys. But I'm just going to write music. And I hope you can see how quickly I can write music with this tool. And at the end of the day, that's what sample libraries are all about. They are tools to get a job done. So whenever, like, I'm really looking forward to the next documentary I score or the next short film or whatever, something that needs this really chill, ambient background to then maybe put some piano or strings or something very light and earthy on top of. So I'm excited today just to show you how quickly and here today. Appreciate you being here. And Andreas said, I literally just finished writing a music for a video using this library just now. Well, hello. How cool is that? Please let us know. How was your experience using the library? And guys, I'm a straight shooter. You know that about me if you've watched any of my content before. I love hearing your feedback, whether it's positive or constructive. If you think you have some helpful advice for how to improve one of these libraries, or heck, you just really enjoy it, I love hearing from you. You can always shoot me a message, Steven@simplesamplesaudio.com, or you can always just go to the website, Simple Samples Audio, and make sure that those messages will get to me. And you can always leave a review on any of the libraries because that's super helpful. It helps other composers know exactly how your experience was. And it tells me and any of the team members I work with how to best improve these libraries. And just a quick note before you start writing, just be on the lookout this year in 2021. There are a ton of updates coming your way. I'm currently in the process of working on getting version 2 of every single library. So if you haven't received or been notified of a version 2 yet, it's on its way. The very next one, for those of you who already have Monster Sanctuary Toolkit, that's the next one I'm working on, just so you know, because we just came out with the Beer Blade Toolkit version 2. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and this has been a really cool journey, and I know that I'm only like 6 months into this so far, but it's been a really fun time. So anyway, let's write some stuff with Granular pads. Grab your coffee, grab your ears, I guess, and let's play some music. Let's pop over to the big screen. Here we go. Now, I will say, it would not be fair of me to talk or to start writing without at least giving a very brief description of what we're working with here. So there are 3 folders, 4 technically. For those of you who actually don't own Contact and you have no intentions of buying Contact, that's fine. I actually included the wave samples of each of the original key patches. So for example, if you want to just go into the major key, you can actually find the original recording of Wings, which is one of the patches recorded in the key of A. So if you have your own sampler like EXF24 within Logic or whatever, Ableton Live, you want to kind of make your own sample out of this, do it. You have the wave files right here and you can drag and drop them, pitch stretch, do whatever you want to really take this whichever direction you want. So for those of you, that was actually a request by somebody recently. So I wanted to make sure that you guys knew about that. But over here, we have 3 different folders, major, minor, and open. The major and minor are pretty self-explanatory where you can just grab a patch, throw it in there, and the yellow keys are where you can play. It's 2 octaves worth of pitches, and you can literally hold this key, and it's a loop, so you can hold this for minutes. Like, if you want to be lazy, and sometimes we got to be lazy, or you need to make something quickly, just hold down the key and now you have yourselves a nice soundscape in the background in the key that you're writing your music in. Because each of these patches are about a minute long loop, so it just evolves over time. And that's with no effects. But then at any point, you can throw on things like cutoff filter to darken the sound. You can change the resonance here. My favorite effect is shimmer because it's a octave up reverb. tube saturation makes it super distorted. And then chorus widens the sound to a very, very large stereo field and makes it a little bit warbly. And at any point, you can take your finger, hold down the control key, click on any of these, and they will reset back to their default state. Just make sure your cutoff, if you don't want it to be changed at all, make sure the cutoff is all the way at the top. Everything else should be at the bottom. So that's how the major keys work. Pretty simple. So typically, like a drone, you would just hold one key or maybe an octave. And if you want, you can change. But those are all major chords baked in. Similarly, your minor patches, a ton of different types here, but let's go to Hopeless, which is one of the minor patches. Very similar. The whole thing's in minor, so this is a G minor right now. Maybe we'll add in the octave. And at any point, just like with any Kontakt library, you can map any of these 5 knobs to any of the buttons or faders or wheels on your MIDI controller. Or if you want to get really fancy, you can even use pedal controllers, whatever your heart desires. You simply do that by right-clicking on any of these knobs, such as cutoff, learn MIDI automation, and then move whatever you want to move. So in this case, I like to use the mod wheel for cutoff filter. And now when I play, you can make some really cool sounds. So again, pretty self-explanatory, major keys, minor keys. But for those of you who really want to have maybe the best of both worlds, you can use the open patches, which are intentionally missing the third. They're just power chords. So they're the 1 and the 5 of a chord. So in the case of a C major, it would be a C and a G, but no E to make it a major and not an E flat to make it a minor. So it's actually missing the middle note. That way you can actually play any of these notes together to create your own chords and make these really thick textures. So let's just try one. Let's try Loneliness, which is one of the open patches. And you'll notice it's a much larger range on the keyboard because you can actually play your own chords. Pretty cool. Again, I like to map all of these things to different knobs and faders, so I'll do the mod wheel for the cutoff. You can really get interesting with this. So these would be more traditional pads because you can play any notes with any duration because they're all looping in the background and that kind of thing. And I love that Vibe Cafe in the chat says, I'm using the open patches all over the place in my synthwave song. There you go. The open patches really lend themselves to EDM and anything more in the dance territory or electronic music or anything that you need to be moving around. Super cinematic too. I can already hear in my head something like Interstellar, right? A big Hans Zimmer score, something that maybe takes an organ with that big synth sound, big like outer space, big gravity, huge pad kind of stuff. And that's just really lends itself well to the large and the small. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to play around with the cutoff. So I can take that same sound, which was pretty big, turn the cutoff down, but also turn the shimmer way up, turn the chorus up, and now it's going to be a completely different small sound. I want to make sure I'm protecting your ears as well. So I turned your volume down, everyone listening. Gotta be careful if you're gonna play around with the mod wheel like that. We don't jerk stuff like that. You can get these really surprising sounds. So that's the pretty basic overview of what we have to work with: major, minor, and open. So what I want to do today, I've already written a demo track that featured one of the major patches, which was called Rest. And so I wrote a track called Enter in Rest. It sounds like this. I'll just pop over to the demo page so you can hear like a few seconds of it. So you can hear how it has all these almost like worship music or prayer music, meditation music. It has this very ambient, swirling, evolving pad-like substance to it. And I've, as someone who has played in worship bands for years and someone who's played keyboards in bands for years, and I've written multiple meditation albums, this is a sound that is just so true to who I am as a composer. This is the kind of stuff I use all the time in documentaries and in like humanitarian films, things that really have a heart behind it, but they still need to kind of live in that pop-centric chord-based world. It's not like John Williams orchestral music. This is really that cinematic sound. And I'm so happy that now, I mean, let's be totally honest, guys. This is how I operate with Simple Samples. I make samples that I personally want to use. There you go. There's the secret. I mean, it has to be inspiring to me. It has to be something that I'm actually going to use. And so I hope you know that when I set out to make a new library, I don't just say, you know, what's the one thing I know everyone's going to buy? Oh, great, an acoustic guitar library. You know, that's just not something I use. I would never want that. Instead, I think, okay, what is something that I would really love to have? And then I go out and I make it, or I work with the people, in this case, Hvybones, Matt Dewson over in Australia. I heard his sound and I said, that's the one, let's do it. And that's just kind of the inception of how this stuff works. Speaking of inception, what a fun plug. You could totally go the Inception route by making huge. So these granular pads, they don't have to be puny and small. They intimate and warm. They can be, but they can also be really menacing and huge. And someone, Pedro, mentioned in the chat that one of the patches I played sounded like Silent Hill. Exactly. I mean, you can really go over the top here. So let me just pick on something. Just show you what it would be like to write something epic and huge and cinematic. Basically, all I have to do is turn up the shimmer a bunch, a little bit of tube saturation, turn up the chorus, maybe even turn the cutoff down a little bit so that the resonance knob can get some squeakiness, and then you just play. Bonk, bonk, right? You could totally throw some huge orchestral Brahms, as they're called in trailer music. Like, that's the kind of atmosphere that you can just, it's like a kitchen sink. It's this huge wall of sound that you don't know where it's coming from because it's bouncing from left to right. That's the kind of music that in a movie theater type sound system, it fills up the room, but it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's this really interesting factor. Because it has to do with the frequencies and has to do with the effects that you're using. So that's how this was crafted in mind, that you can play a patch like that and then take the big orchestral sounds and just mesh them together, and it just creates this larger than life sound. So part of me wants to do that for you. But I don't want to necessarily go the epic route. I might. Who knows? Let's see where inspiration leads today. But with all that said, that's the library. Now we can have some fun and really dive in and play around a little bit because it's all about experimentation. So one of my favorite patches, it's actually the one I started with today. It's the Cold in Here patch. I haven't written a track in minor yet, like a dark piece using these yet, so I was excited to try that today. So let's see what we can come up with here. All right, Joe has a question in the chat. He says, so is each sample triggered based on a major or minor triad or open fifths with the open patches? So to clarify, it's exactly what you just said, yes. So major and minor, it's not a traditional triad, so it's not a 1-3-5. They're either played on guitar or a synth, so they're spread out. So the original chord might be, let's see if I can explain this. So right now I'm playing a C on the keyboard. So you can hear how it's a C, E flat, and a G, but they're really spread out. They're like 2 octaves apart. So it's a C on the bottom, E flat in the middle, and then a G way up top. So it's technically a triad, right? But it's spread out, and each patch has its own character like that. But of course, if I were to move down by 1 pitch, right, it's now a B, D in the middle, and F sharp on top. So it is a triad. It's just spread out. And each patch is different. So that's the same for the majors and the minors. And then the open patches are recorded as fifths so that you can play 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes at the same time, like a traditional pad. Some of them are actually just 1 pitch. They're not even fifths. So they're labeled open because it means that you can play them freely. You're not restricted by the tonality because there's no third, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me open a few patches. So this one's called Cold in Here. Let's pull up another one. Another one I really like is Waiting Room, which is this one. I like them all, but they're just all very different. So Waiting Room, it's like this. Very Metroid-esque. So let's just write. I think today I'm going to write without a metronome just to see how this feels. I'm going to ride that mod wheel exactly like I would a synthesizer, playing with the knobs. So I'm very slowly moving my left hand on the mod wheel, up and down. I'll go a bit longer here. Let's get about 2 minutes. There we go. Let it breathe. And there we go. That's 2 minutes. That's a good amount of time. And I know it's simple, but that's kind of the point, right? Why overcomplicate something if it really is that simple? So what I like to do in music in general when using a computer is to convert that to audio. That way we can physically see what the waveform is doing at all times. And if we have to move it or shift it or whatever, we're not working with MIDI anymore. So a quick way of doing that in Cubase, bounce to audio. Takes a few seconds. It's a very, very handy feature. That way we have a permanent piece of audio. Good time for coffee break. Okay. Anyway, let me get my mixer up here. Boom, there it is. So I'm actually going to call that waiting room pad audio, and I'll mute out the other one just so we don't get confused. Vibe Cafe. What is Hearts of Space? Is that like an audio drama or a podcast? Sounds like it. And then I actually want to import one of my favorite pianos. I actually used this piano on the other track. So I want to grab it real quick. So what I'm going to be pulling up here is Noir, which is a Native Instruments. It's one of their pianos. And they have a felt piano there, which I really enjoy. One of my favorite felt pianos. Pardon me while I pull this up. I thought this might be faster. I have all my presets on it. I love presets. It saves so much time. Instead of having to go in there fiddle with all the settings to get it just right. I just pull open from another track I just used this on, and in Cubase you can do it very easily. Just select the one track you want, import it into your current session. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So now I can just start playing. So this particular track has shimmer and an EQ on it. If you want to see that, it looks like this. There's my EQ. You can see how it's just kind of barely cutting off the top and the bottom. And then I have a Valhalla shimmer on there, which 30% big room helps a lot. And the actual patch itself looks like this. It's Noir, felt from Native Instruments. All of the effects are on, reverb and delay. It has this gorgeous, meaty feel that when you layer it on top of a pad like this, man, really helps. And I should also mention that whenever you have an audio waveform like this, do yourself a favor and trim off any of the silence, and then use your fade in tool to kind of give it some fade in. Same thing is true of the end. Just go to the end of the patch or of that phrase, and since that audio already has the reverb baked in, you can control where the reverb tail happens. That's the benefit of using audio like this. All right, so now we're going to work on piano. It's a little too much reverb for me. Let me pull that back quite a bit. Oh, you guys can't hear that? Dang it. I just played for so long too. Well, that's weird. Why can't you hear that? Yikes, yikes, yikes. Such a beautiful sound too. Weird. It's like coming through. How about now? Yeah, that was weird. So sorry about that. I was playing like this whole dang thing. Okay, cool. Now that everything's working. Sorry about that. There it is. Cool. I like that a lot. And here's the benefit of seeing the audio in front of me. You might be wondering, how the heck did I time that? Well, I was staring the whole time at this waveform, and I could see that there were a couple of dips when I used the mod wheel and I went down. These little moments of, quote, silence, or, less energy. So what I tried to do was time my hits. As you can see, if I zoom out a little bit, you can see I tried to time my hits when the energy kicked back in. And that way it kind of had this pulse. And it also created this, like, I don't even know what the time signature actually was there. That's kind of the nature of ambient music, is it doesn't always follow a perfect time. It's not always 4/4. But what I tried to do was, by having those little moments of pause, it's almost like a 5/4 bar was interjected, or like one extra beat we waited of silence, and then boom. So now, I told you guys this is going to be a fast or a short stream because it's so easy. Is that the right word? It's effortless, I guess. It's so inspiring to use these pads because they just have so much character, and they almost write themselves. It's so interesting. At least for me. I mean, at the end of the day, I hope that's not selfish, but, I make these things for the purpose of using them myself. So I hope that somewhere in there's a translation of me as a composer making tools that are useful for me makes them also useful for you, instead of, some big corporation trying to make something that sells. I just don't like that. That's kind of icky to me. So anyway, by composers for composers, right? Isn't that how it should be? love felt pianos. They warm my heart. So rich and creamy, chocolatey. All right, so next, here's the danger. This is just my thing. Those of you who have watched me for a while, you understand I have a horrible tendency to overwrite, because I think somewhere in my brain says, no, you need 17 more tracks to make it complete. But no, this is the year that I am telling myself, no, sometimes 2 tracks is fine. Sometimes 3 tracks is fine. I am not 100%. I mean, you could just have what we wrote and it'd be fine, but I think there's some more production things we can do. So I want to add some kind of percussion hit, like a low sub hit that goes something that emphasizes those piano hits to even give more depth on the low end. So I'm going to just grab any old sub hit. Doesn't matter what you use. In fact, it's kind of funny. Whenever I do trailer music, I only use free things. So if you guys want this, go grab it. I literally made my own sample. I mean, of course I did, because I do samples, but let me actually find it. It's in my quick load right here. I've actually taken a bunch of free sounds. I have to find it manually. Give me a sec. I've changed around my folders. But anyway, I have... Where is it? I'm going to find it, guys. I've made my own because there's so much free stuff out there that at the end of the day, when you use EQs, you can actually rub off all the high end. If you want a sub hit, you can almost make it out of anything. So I just take a big, over the top percussion hit and then take off the high end and you have this nice low thud. So I want to find it real quick. Bum, bum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum. Is this it? Yay! I think I found it. Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. So it's just a little contact instrument I made with my own wave files that I found different places, and one of them is Ava Instinct. So I can take these big fat hits, but I'm going to throw an EQ on it. This is a really good production tip. You can create almost any new sound with just an EQ. It's really cool. So take off all the high end, take off everything below 20 because we don't want to break any subwoofers in the house, for those of you who have them. Come on, double click. There we go. And then, so basically just keep everything in that 20 to 200 range. And now when I play some of these big hits, let me find one that really, really sells. There's a good one. Feel that? I mean, here's the original sound. Totally unusable. Like these huge over-the-top trailer hits, but take all the high end off. You can actually see it in the analyzer. Watch. Now that let me do post EQ. That's all we kept. Now it's just this beautiful low thud. Isn't that cool? Anyway, that's the kind of stuff you want to use when you're trying to emphasize. Yeah, here we go. So here's a quick trick. I know you guys like tricks. I'm literally going to bounce that hit, mute. Now we have ourselves a beautiful little waveform that I'm going to chop up and make sure it's perfection. Just a nice clean hit. I can actually see all the little fuzz at the end. I'm going to fade it out. So now it's this perfect little hit. So what I'm going to do is let's put the effects I want for that hit. So probably I'm going to want that same Valhalla I keep using. So back over here. Let's listen to it. quickly, so it's not overwhelming. Just did 2 dB. But now what I can do is I can take that little clip. I don't even have to play anything in real time. Just go through, whenever I hit the piano, line it up. Pretty simple trick. There's really nothing fancy about it. It's actually pretty dirt easy, but easy sometimes is all you need. There we go. And I can tweak them as needed, but kind of see how I now have these big thuds. I don't want to do it every single time, but at least on the big, quote, downbeats, right? So let's kind of go through and see what it feels like. Oh, there we go. Cool. Just making sure you guys are actually hearing that. I want to make sure because you guys haven't been talking for a couple minutes. Oh, I hate when that happens. There we go. So yeah, you guys are good, I hope. So this is very cinematic music. So another way of making this fit is to continue that same process. Let's do the same thing where, hello. I'm going to bounce in place that felt noir. For the same reason, so I can actually see where the waveforms hit. It's going to make this process way easier of lining them up. And this is just one of the extra steps you have to do, I find helpful when you're doing ambient music, because there's no click. And you need to see when things happen. That way you're not guessing, because we can't quantize. That way we're not guessing on all this stuff. So I'm going to say piano audio. And there we go. Now that's how much easier that is. My gosh. So much easier. I can actually line up without guessing all day. If I just turn my grid off, it's a whole lot easier just to move stuff around. See that? So I'm just trying to line up these two waveforms the best I can visually. But you can kind of see how many of them were quite off because I lined them up with the MIDI data instead of the audio. That's the danger. But it's worth the extra, 30 seconds to line them up this way. Sure beats minutes at a time of wasted time, right? And likewise, it's actually really good to have this piano reverb tail, just getting to fade that out as well is really helpful. Let's try listening. Is it really lagging that bad for you guys? My goodness. Let me restart the little plugin. How about now? There we go. So sorry about that, guys. That's a fun sound. I like this a lot. I'll actually back up the intro here. There it is. Look at me, guys. This is so funny. Every once in a while, I catch myself like conducting the computer. Because I did conducting for several years. And I've worked with orchestras, and it's just like in my nature to like, I don't know, conduct. Oh, you're conducting the pad. Come on. Cool. I think it's a fantastic start. Again, I don't want to overproduce, but I do hear other things I'd like to lean into here. Really, the sub hit is too heavy for you? I'll keep backing it off. How does this feel? I like it right there at -5. All right. Next, I want to pull open. I'm thinking some strings of some sort. Again, I really don't want to overdo it, but I don't know why I feel like I need some low string textures, but something in that realm. I want some orchestral vibe. Because my last track was just piano and pads, which is fine. Cool. Thanks, those awkward gamers. Thanks for letting me know about the sub hit EQ. I like those a lot, actually. Yeah, I think I want to keep like a low unsettling strings. Probably turn them down a little bit. Let's throw that same shimmer. Actually, I'm gonna do an actual reverb, convolution reverb for this one. That way it's in an actual space instead of like outer space. So I'm just gonna throw some 2C Aether on there. Here we go. Cool. It's not meant to be this like feature. It's just kind of an element kind of on the sides. So maybe I'll turn it down a little bit more. I like that. It makes it very creepy, unsettling, like you're in some kind of dark environment of some sort. So I want to do something similar. Let's grab some kind of cluster high strings. Again, it needs to kind of mimic the other, but on the offbeats. So right now I'm using cage strings from 8Dio. Awesome for this kind of stuff. I think I'll do the same textures. Yeah, that piano sounds amazing, Cedric. This is my favorite texture sample. So useful. I think I want more of like a smear, like a nails and chalkboard kind of thing. Yeah, like that. Too much. That's a good one. I'm thinking of like Lord of the Rings spiders kind of stuff. So this will be high strings effects. I'll give it the same reverb as the other. All right. Like that. I want it just in between. Turn them down. I want to keep them. But then I'm going to do the same as before. I'm going to pump out balance in place. It's a cool effect, but if it's used too much, it loses its effectiveness, huh? I don't know why it's still playing. But it just makes me feel very tense. Well, I guess you get to hear the entire 2 minutes of it. Sorry, not sorry. There it is. Jeez. It's like, stop. You have to do elbow cough if you want a dab. There it is. Hey, what's up, Zach? You hear how it's very unsettling if you keep it at a very low volume. Also, quick little moment here. I want to cut off that crescendo. And actually just do a little bit of cropping here. So it happens sooner. You serious? This sound is just like disappearing. Nah, you're right. That's so weird. It's like laggy. That's never happened before, guys. I mean, this is the culprit right here. Weird. But you see how all this has been built off of one patch? I only used one from Granular pads. But it's inspiring. I didn't even use cold in here. Let's see what that might feel like. I might actually benefit more from using an open patch to help copy that, you know, the thing. The melody. Let me find my patch again. I'm also trying not to rewrite one of my melodies for a game I'm working on. It's a little too close. It goes. Really try not to do that again. Okay, here are my open patches. Maybe agony. Maybe not agony. Let's play with some. Yeah, so to answer a question from Cedric, he's talking about a popping noise when you hit a new patch. That's just due to, that's contact. That's because these patches are so long in their tail, right? Has all that release time. If you change patches while the release has not finished, you're going to hear the pop. See? Pop. But it's not going to make its way into the music. This one's very synthy. I like doubling that melody, just a single with, what patch is that? Together Again is what it's called. It's nice. Has like a guitar type feel. I like it. I just need to play the right notes. let's keep going. Oops, lost my plot. So what I'm doing is I'm recording the pad while I read the piano MIDI, if I can get all the right notes. And there it is. Cool. I think that's good. I think that's ready. I don't want to overwrite, and I think I have to stop there if I want it to breathe and live as it's supposed to be. Cool. I want to call that Longing for More. I think that's a good title for that. But yeah, that's it. So I'm going to play that next week as part of, not next week, but in 2 weeks as part of the composing challenge. We're going to have the listening party after everyone has submitted their tracks. My track does not actually enter to win anything, obviously. But I just wanted to show you the library today and show you how I use it in a real context, because this is super useful for me for creating these evolving pads right out of the box. They're just so easy to use. Minor, major, or the open patches. And of course, for those of you who don't have Contact, you can always use the wave samples that come with it. So this was helpful for you guys, just kind of see this used in a live context. Again, use the links in the description below to enter the competition. And right now, take advantage of the 80% off launch sale, limited time. For Hvybones Granular pad, you'll get access to all 36 of the ambient patches, 13 major key patches, 12 minor key patches, and 11 open patches with all the knobs and all the goodies inside. And of course, please enter the competition. You don't have to, but I think you'll have fun writing your track. So as the time of this recording, you have 12 days left to enter. 5 winners will be selected on March 4th during the listening party at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do make sure that you follow these rules. We've had some people in the past not follow the rules, and they do not get to qualify, unfortunately. Also, make sure that you actually fill out the form. I don't know why I have to say that, but that's a thing. So make sure that if you write the track, don't just email it to me. It will not be submitted. You have to fill out the form, because that's how we keep track of all the people and sort all the data, because it's a lot of data, a lot of downloads and stuff that we have to do to get ready for it. So make sure you follow the rules and you will be entered, and that'll be a lot of fun. All right, guys, thank you. Hope you had a wonderful time and have a wonderful day from here. I'll actually post the final track. I'll bounce it right after this and put it on SoundCloud and put the link in the description below so you can listen to it in its full mixed glory. Yeah, hope you guys had fun. So I will see you next week. We're actually going to take a week off from Simple Samples stuff. We're going to actually be doing a review of a different library, which I think you guys will be excited about. It'll be a lot of fun. So have a good one. See you guys next time. This is Stephen Malin from Simple Samples.